He's sick.
I am sick. I am sick.
I'm a little sick, but I had it before him. It's too high up.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it also kind of wampus?
Hope that's better.
I look pretty frumpy, even frumpier than normal. Sorry about that. So I'm going to be on a cough drop. Don't mind me. It's November 1st.
Yep.
Halloween's over.
Halloween's over. It's the day to sign up for healthcare. Yay.
Also Dia de los Muertos.
Is it?
It is indeed.
Oh, well. I think more about healthcare then.
I don't have any marigold petals anyway.
Oh, okay. Now I got to start thinking of Thanksgiving.
Yes, we do. I don't know what we're going to do for it. We're going to do our sushi thing.
Yeah, we do sushi.
We're going to do sushi. So, pardon me. We are going to talk about what we're watching. We're doing our wrist stuff.
Right now?
Yeah, why not? So let's break. So, forgive me, I'm a little croaky. This week I've been going back and forth. I've been wearing this Omega Railmaster. It's a 2003 reissue of the Railmaster, and they had 3 different sizes. They had 36, 39, and 41. This is the 39. It's a coaxial movement. It's a beautiful watch. I hadn't been wearing it because I resized it for Sabrina, and then she never wore it. So I resized it again for myself because somebody was interested in trading for it.
And then I found out.
And then she found out, she's like, hey, I was wondering where that watch was. So I've been actually wearing it. I've really been loving it. But I also had, I don't really go on eBay anymore because I'm trying not to spend money on watches. But I did go on, and I don't even know how I found this. I found this on eBay like this. This is a 6309 7049 movement and case back. And somebody moved it out of the big cushion case that it would have come in and put it into a slim case, either for a 7548 or a 6309 7290. But it's got it's an unusual mod, and I was looking at it and I was like, I think that was done a long time ago because the dial and the hands are excellent and the text is still kind of brick red, and it's not worn. Something about it really tickled me, and so I got it in. And I opened it up, and there's only one servicing mark inside the case back. It's from 1991. So this was done, I think, my guess is probably by the original owner. So I'm going to leave it like this. I'm not going to transfer it back into a big cushion case or anything. I really like it like this. It's like the best of both worlds. These slim cases, they never came with this style dial. I just think it's really neat. It's really cool. And this is on a Z199. And so that's what I've been going back and forth between these two. I guess I'll talk about the other neat thing that came in. Anyway, so you're wearing a watch that you said you haven't been wearing very much. I guess put your wrist down and let me feel it.
I don't even know if the time's right. I just grabbed it.
You did?
Yeah. Because I didn't want you to know.
Gosh, I have no idea what it is. I can't feel if it's got buttons. I don't think it's a... Wait, oh, it does. It's a chronograph. I bet it's Uncle Dick's Omega.
Nope.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What is it? What, you're not going to tell me? I don't know. It's a chronograph with what feels like round buttons. I don't know. You have to show me. I'm stumped. Oh, you're wearing the Rima. That's such a cool watch.
And I'll set it.
And you will set it, but that is a really cool watch. It's got a Valju 71 in it, which is it's really cool. It's a beautiful movement, and this was actually serviced by a Rolex tech in his spare time. It's a really cool watch with salt blued hands.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's non-loomed and it runs beautifully. It's a really nice watch.
Oh, now I should set it. I don't even know what time it is.
Huh?
I don't know what time it is.
It's 12:19.
Oh.
Look, honey, you've got not one, but 2 timepieces telling you the time.
Oh, and I looked at the clock on the wall.
That's funny. Other neat things is I did a great trade with one of our cool folks. I've wanted one of these for a really, really, really long time. Hang on just one second. This is Robert Lambert, who's a customer of mine, and we talk all the time. He is on Instagram. I believe he's Power90801. But this is one of the reissues. This is one of Seiko's first reissues that I know of. They, in the 90s, they reissued a lot of their 60s and early 70s sport divers, but with a 7S movement. And they weren't terribly successful, and they're kind of hard to find. So this is a reissue of the sushi diver, and this is one of the rare things where Seiko, like, they got the reissue exactly right. Like the color and the way the dial is put together and the sweep hand.
I love the color.
It's just they did a fantastic job. And I've wanted one of these for a really long time, and this one's almost in perfect condition. Bracelet's short for me, but that doesn't bother Sabrina, since apparently I'm going to resize it for her. But I'm really super happy with it. And if you've got any more of these reissues, anybody, I'd be interested in looking at them. There's a reissue of the 5126 that I really want. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. Lastly, I'm still going back and forth toying with the idea of selling this Rolex. God, I just don't wear it, but yet I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. My GMT Master, but there's other things I need to do. There's other things we need to do, and so I've been kind of shopping this one around. I should wear it. I just can't. The problem is I have it in my head that we're going to get rid of it, and so I just can't. I just never wear it as a result. But it's so cool. So that's what we got going on with those. Again, if you find one of these reissues, oh, they're cool. I've wanted one of these for so long. I have a new old stock case for one of these, just the case. And I've hoarded it for years, hoping that someday I could find something that would work with it, but so far I haven't. But now I've got this. Now we've got this. That's super cool. I just love it, just because because Seiko did such a great job on these reissues. It has all the Sua aesthetics, but it's got the Daini reliability in terms of the movement. It's awesome, and it has a kanji English day wheel, which you just don't see often. It's so neat. Anyway, how's your life going?
Fine. Just thinking about healthcare. See, the way my brain works is when I have something important, I need to do it, and then it needs to be done so that I can move on. And today is day 1, and I want to get it done, but it was timing out, because of course it was. So now I'm waiting for a phone call from Connect for Health to help me, and I'll probably end up having to go see somebody. And the phone call is going to be a waste of my life.
And the last time I went to go see somebody, she spent the whole time complaining about her boyfriend.
Well, that's when you went. The last time I went, the guy was very helpful.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get it.
Okay. Because nobody wants to hear me talk about healthcare. Okay, from Nacho Valenti. Hi, Sabrina and Spencer. ISV's a SKX173 since December 2013 and an SRP Turtle since June 2018.
So. Oh, somebody did ask you to speak up slightly.
Okay, I will speak up like I used to when I was much younger. Uh-oh, Sebastian wants daddy.
Well, if I'm upstairs looking at Sebastian, I can't hear the question.
I can't talk that loudly. Maybe he'll get over it.
Maybe.
Okay. So far, both work very well and are quite accurate. Dive with them 6 or 7 times a year between 50 and 60 meters deep, and in 2017 wear my SKX for service and pressure check. My question is, how often do you advise me to do the service, knowing that I make for the use I make for both watches? By the way, what movement do you think is more reliable of the 2 watches? I'm going to go see what he wants.
Let me just review this. Okay. The official line is that the official numbering is that 5 years is the official thing for routine service. If you're diving, you should have the seals checked every single year. I don't know, I'm a little fuzzy and unclear. I know this stuff cold, but I have a cold, so I don't seem to really know it much at all. Basically, if you're diving, those seals need to be checked and cleaned and greased and pressure tested every single year. The two movements, SKX 173 has a 7S26 movement in it. Now, it could be the A, the early one, which is bulletproof, or it could be the B and the C, which is when we start to see all those weird QC problems. And the SRP Turtle that you've got there, that's going to have a 4R36, which is the more modern version of the 7S movement with additional hacking and hand winding. So from a technical perspective, the SRP movement is superior. I mean, it's got hacking and hand winding, which are both things I deeply appreciate. They're both potentially going to have that QC, those QC lubrication issues. So, I mean, the Turtle has the better movement. They both honestly should be serviced if you're diving with them. And then it will also hopefully take care of any of the lubrication issues you've been seeing. Hi, what was the problem?
We have two remotes because one kept getting lost, and I put the spare remote up high so the kids don't get it. But he didn't want the remote that he could get. He wanted the one that was on the roof. So I had to get him the other remote and put because he's 3. And I just want to do this and not worry about him screaming. From David Wu. Hi, SNS. Enjoyed the video. I always learned something from them. I inherited a 7548 and wonder what can be done to make the bezel easier to rotate. I've taken it off and cleaned the bezel in the case and lubricated the matting surfaces, but it's still hard to rotate. Any other ideas? Thanks.
If you don't replace the gasket, the rotating ring gasket, you're whistling Dixie. So cleaning all that is fine, but if that rotating ring gasket is hard, it's not really going to work correctly. That's really about it. The other thing that can happen sometimes, well, you can sort of see it here. The 7548s and the 6309s, the bezel inserts aren't flat to the plane of the glass. They actually are angled. They're dished inwards. You can see it there. Do you see how the black surface is kind of dished in? If it's too much, or if the crystal retaining ring isn't far down enough, if it's not fully snapped into place, you can get physical interference between the underside of that insert and the crystal retaining ring. That's another thing to check.
From Chrono Craze. Hey guys, always great to make some time to check your Friday mail call videos. This is a minor question, but do you have a definitive answer to what the difference between a 7S26 movement and a 7S36, other than 2 extra joules in the 7S36, then perhaps one small component, there doesn't seem to be any discernible difference between the movements in terms of quality, accuracy, or power reserve. I suppose the question might be more appropriate to ask, why are there these 2 movements without seemingly any noticeable advantage or disadvantage between either?
Well, the main difference is, yes, they've got extra joules, but it's the kind of joules. The 7S36 has diafix settings, extra diafix settings. And what a diafix setting is, normally you have your pinion. Imagine you've got a wheel here, and you got your pinion, and it's sticking through your joule, which is like a little donut. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. And it's in a 7S26, it's just sitting there, and it has some oil around the base, and it just turns. Diafix is when it has a cap on the top of the thing, and so the lubrication is held in a very specific place. It's held just around the tip, and it's also kept away from basically all the debris and dust that gets kicked up inside a watch movement.
Is that more effective?
It's more effective. It holds the lubrication where it's supposed to be. It keeps the lubrication cleaner because it's capped away, and it's also because it has less contact with the atmosphere. It will stay there longer. And so it's more about longevity, really.
From Doom Guy 1, lots of numbers. Wow, October 69 for 6138 must have been one of the earliest. The earliest one I'd seen before was February 1970, which I used to have. I had no idea 6138s were available before 1970.
Yeah, they started cranking out. The 6139s came out first. They started being made in, earliest I've seen is, I believe is January 1969 for the 6139s. 6138s were released later. I think Seiko started selling the 6139s in like June of 69, and I think the 6138s came out later that summer, but the early ones, yeah, they were made in 69. I'm not I must have seen a fair amount of them because if I saw a 6138 that was from 69, I would have been like, "Oh, okay," but I don't really know what the earliest one is that I've ever seen, but I mostly associate them with very late 69, but mostly into 1970, 71, and especially through the 70s. They were the watch of the 70s.
From Daniel Lee. If you find one, but the crystal, what's a one? Down here.
It was a comment on a video about a 6117 Navigator.
Okay, if you find one, but the crystal is an aftermarket, does that hurt its value? I think if one piece was okay for a replacement, it would be the crystal.
Yeah, I mean, the crystals are meant to be replaced. They were designed to be replaced. It was expected that they would be replaced. So, as long as it's unless somebody's going to sit there and take a micrometer to it or test the acrylic to say, oh, this was manufactured by GS. It wasn't made by Seiko. No one's going to care. It's just one of those things. It's expected to be changed. Yeah, I can't. I mean, maybe I'm a minority, but that's how I look at it.
Well, I would think that if you have a watch and the crystals beat to you-know-what, it wouldn't be worth as much as being able to actually see the dial.
Right, because the idea is you want to have the watch be functional. And so for the watch to be functional, the crystal has to be usable. And having a jacked-up crystal interferes with one of the main functions of the watch.
Todd S. Another beautiful cold 6139 brought back to life. I realized I wasn't being loud.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. He was just a comment on restoring a gold 6139.
I still got the one you did for me several years ago, which I still cherish.
It's so fun bringing these machines back to life. That's what's up with the MG and all this other stuff. It's just cool to bring these old machines back to life.
AJW. I've been contemplating the SBDC 055 reissue SPB 071J1 myself until I stumbled on Casual Watch Reviewer as well as your video regarding the SR15. Now that a considerable amount of time has passed and we're in late 2019, in your professional opinion, is the QC situation for the 6R15 still ongoing, and I am best looking elsewhere, or has Seiko resolved them?
I haven't seen any evidence that they resolved anything, and I've seen these QC problems. Not just, I mean, I've seen them in the new reissues, the 60 MAS reissue. The Baby Marine Masters, again, seen sort of inconsistent numbers, and, I haven't seen anything to show that they have. People still talk about it. It still comes up. I mean, I think it's a crapshoot, but I don't think it's been resolved yet. I don't have any direct evidence that things are improving, so that's all I can say.
RG, hi SNS, have you considered designing your own watch?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
No, I think about it all the time, actually.
You certainly have a good idea of all the best technical solutions for many vintage Seiko movements. Also, you seem to have a very strong feel for what you want in a watch case, so designing one wouldn't be an issue. I am seeing lots of micro brands evolving with success, few of them, like Weiss, with proprietary movements. Ooh, you're going to drop something. There. You clearly may have an edge here, as well as some solid initial customer base. Have a great weekend.
No, I'd love to. There's so much stuff.
I don't even know how you do that.
Well, I mean, come on, Steve Laughlin, Raven Watches, he's just designer, and he was just some guy, and he started working with designers and companies to produce what he was looking for, and he's an actual no-fooling watch brand, and he's not like...
His watches are cool.
And his watches are cool. The micro brands, there's a million Kickstarters for micro brands, and they all look the same. They're all these minimalistic things with baton markers and inexpensive quartz movements. He uses nice movements and does some cool stuff. There's Mark II, Bill Yao. Works out of Japan. We got 2 of those watches from him. Again, doing cool stuff. There's so many products I would love to create. I want to create a proprietary rubber strap. Actually, there's 2 different designs I want to recreate for us. I'd love to.
We just forget because we get so busy, and then we remember during the week when work stuff is happening, and
or at night when we're still trying to, she's trying to get everybody in bed, and we think about this stuff. What I'd love to do is partner with somebody to have to work on a design together. Because I don't have the acumen to do like a 3D design. I mean, that would be ideal. I have designs in my head. I know what I would like. But it's, it's just nothing that would happen. I'd love to have to work and have an approved, Klein Vintage watch, diver of some kind. I think that'd be super neat. And, I think it would be, I'm sitting here being a talking head and bitching about Seiko and their reissues. Well, maybe I should put my money where my mouth is and produce my own reissue and or whatever, and have people rip it apart and tell me how much I suck. So I mean, it's rather than being an armchair watch person, really get in the fight. But I haven't gotten that far yet. I mean, if I was really together, I would learn how to do 3D designing. If I was really.
When do you have the time? Well, I suppose you spend most of your free time clicking.
Or working on watches or screwing around. Yeah, I mean, I could. I just have poor time management. But I think it's important, and I would absolutely do it. I would love to do that. I think it'd be a wonderful, fun project. It would be a legacy project. It would be putting my mark on something. It would be cool. I can see it in my head. The design. I have a few designs sitting in my head about things that I would like. And it's not actually necessarily terribly derivative either, but I don't know, it'd be neat.
Never occurred to me.
So Steve Laughlin, Raven Watches, we talk pretty regularly. If you ever wanted to do a collaboration, I would love to do one with you, or anybody else out there. Basically, I just don't have the ability to do the actual computer design myself. But I definitely can think of things that I would love to do, styles that I would love.
Okay.
So did we go through all the questions?
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of questions. Now we're on boring MG stuff.
Oh yeah, there's only a few MG things. So if you don't want to hear about MG stuff, now is the time to turn the video off. So let's get on to MG stuff.
Okay, here we go. From John Tocho. Enjoyed the update. I have toyed with the idea of buying an MGTD. Moss has all the parts and they are not that expensive. That is amazing. Replacement parts readily available and inexpensive for a 65-year-old MG. Good luck, and I smashed the like.
Oh, well, thank you for smashing the like. It seems that the MG seems to be sort of... people seem to be sort of frustrated or don't want to hear about it. Some people do, but a lot of people seem to really dig it. So that's nice.
But people tell you to shut up about it?
Oh, I don't know. It's just the last MG video I put up. There were like 3 instant downvotes. They were almost like bot downvotes. It was crazy. It doesn't matter. I don't care about likes or dislikes or whatever. I never made these videos for any other reason than to have fun. But yeah, it's great that I can get all the parts, and I'm really just. I do a little bit every day, but it's just right now. It just started. It's really cold, and we're trying to do all this other stuff financially. So there's all these parts I need that I haven't ordered. So everything is like waiting because there's pieces missing for everything. But it'll happen.
Randy Allen, the bars bolted to the leaf springs are to prevent axle tramp and spring wind-up. Not sure how well they worked. They were common in the late 60s and early 70s as a modification to more overpowered American cars with the leaf spring like old Mustangs. I've never seen them on an MG before.
It's one of those things it was the only thing that gave me real hesitation when I was looking underneath the car before we shook on a deal, is that the springs, they're flat in the front and they curve up in the rear, but yeah, they've got this like weird thing, and it looked to me like the springs were like collapsing or something. It might be one of these deals because, again, Boss, they have complete replacement springs, brand new 7-leaf springs, and they're not terribly expensive. They really aren't. And I was going to order like all new bushings and everything to rebuild the current springs, and maybe it would just be simpler to just put new springs in the back.
I think so. From GG. NGBs are 10 a penny here in the UK, and they are a very affordable and cheap to buy run classic comparative to UK Fords of the same era which sell for crazy money. My advice would be to change the engine in favor of a Rover V8, which is a common period mod and gives it more miles per gallon.
Yeah, I thought about that. I mean, there's a crate company in Denver that does the Rover V8s, and so think about putting a V8 in an MG. But the thing is, it's the aluminum block and aluminum head, so it's not terribly heavy. And they're literally, as far as I understand it, they're a drop-in bolt-in conversion. But I want to bring the car as it is back to life. I think it's a neat idea having sort of a stealth performance car, but I'm no speed demon.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going up a hill. Is it going to go, or is it going to go chugga?
No. It's going to have more than enough power to go up.
What about versus like the shiny car when we were driving up the mountain?
Oh, that thing had a sewing machine under the hood.
It was a Chevy Aveo.
Yeah, which was really a Daewoo. No, it's going to have more than enough power. I mean, I drove MGB GTs all over creation. I drove them down to Denver on the highway.
Yeah, but that's not uphill. That's flat.
Oh, they were fine. I never ran into any problems.
Okay.
Never. It was fine. I want to bring the car as it was back to life. But who knows, down the road. It'd be neat to have a more performance-y kind of car, but I really am kind of a restoration to stock kind of person for the most part. That's about it. My throat hurts. I want to stop talking.
Okay, we don't have any more questions.
So that's it. It was a short video. Thank you so much. Have a happy November. Happy Dios de los Muertes and all that good stuff.
And sign up for your healthcare.
We don't have enough friendlies set up.
Will you stop it?
Okay. And, sign up for your healthcare. Yeah, that's important. That's really very important. And I don't know. That's it. Year's almost over. Teens are almost over. Almost 2020.
Time to party like a flapper.
Yeah, the 20s are coming. 20s are coming. Okay, thank you so very much. Bye-bye.